Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford. With us on our guest podcast this week, Christmas time, so it's a wee Christmas special with Scott Alcroft, the author. He's back on again with us, and also joining us with Scott is John. John, obviously, we've got a good guest on this week. Scott, obviously, very successful author on Amazon. I think it's 6 books, Scott, that's correct, isn't it? So it's obviously very well regarded as an author, Scott. Obviously, John's Celtic fan. Good to have him on.
Aye, great to have Scott on. A couple of questions for him. Aye, brilliant.
As I say, Scott, how's things? And obviously, Merry Christmas, mate. Start off with.
Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Merry Christmas to
Aye, you too.
as well, and listening. Aye, tremendous. Hope you're all okay.
Well, I think we're all right for the result the other day, but I think for the St Mirren result, mate, no really Merry Christmas for us, was it?
Oh, it's dreadful, man. I just don't know what happened. It's like we watched the game yesterday, obviously, and Abada and Rodgers and all the rest of it. They were on fire, but against St Mirren, they were terrible. Like just nothing was happening there. And I think we missed the wee Japanese boy. You know, he wasn't there to stick the ball in the pokey. So. It's one of them, man. But we'll beat them the next time we play them on the 2nd of February. Whenever it's going to be, we'll beat them. So don't worry about it.
As I say, but obviously you're still in Spain, mate. How Chris has been in Spain, and how's things been so far since the last time I spoke to you?
Aye, good, mate. Good, not too bad. I think like we said, the restrictions earlier, restrictions and stuff have changed in Scotland and Spain, and probably all across Europe, but it's a wee bit different now. It's COVID passports to get into pubs and clubs and restaurants and all the rest of it. So it's a wee bit different, but apart from that, man, it's pretty much the same.
In the day, mate, we get the sunshine and we're freezing, so I think you're all right.
Well, they're not too bad. Was it the day with my girlfriend, and we're in the Port of Salto Grande just chilling out in the sunshine, and it's not a bad life, pal. It's not a bad life.
As I said, mate, we're alive, so every day's a blessing, isn't it? As obviously, John, start off with obviously a game against St Mirren. Very, very poor. Considering with 30 shots in goal, how can you even get a goal? It's just, it's a very, very tough game to pick your bones through, because there's a lot of things I would say we did right in a way, but a lot of things we didn't do. I don't know what you think. Obviously, he changed his system against St Johnstone. He roughly changed it a wee bit, his style of play. Maybe he should have done it against St Mirren, because we know, obviously, due to the COVID news with St Mirren, which, let's be honest, it wasn't actually as bad as it was made out. I don't know.
Pants pulled down, man.
I don't know what you think. I'll go to yourself first, John. Obviously, there was rumours that it was going to be a very, very youthful squad. And I think the betting said that they were Celtic were 1-10, they went to 1-25 on. Before the game, they went down to 1-5. You're thinking, what's going on here? There wasn't a lot of youth really playing. I think it was 8 or 9 first team wasn't on the play anyway. Again, so, and you can have seen that when maybe he didn't risk Kyogo. He thought maybe if a depleted team, it's maybe changed his thoughts. Scott Bain was in goals. Obviously, we found out now that Hart could be injured or whatever. We don't know what's happening there. But a sticky game, John, and not the best result we could hope for.
It was back to kind of same as last year. That slow passing, wasn't it? One end of the park, across, back. We just lacked a focal point, didn't we? But there'd plenty of balls flashed across the front of the goal. I think if you'd a natural striker, they would have been in the right positions to put the ball away. You've got the stats. I think the stats were incredible, like shots and whatever, possession, whatever. But it's all about putting the ball in the net, innit? And as Scott said, badly missed week Kyogo.
Yeah, massively, man. Massively.
That was 30 shots in goal, 8 were on targets, roughly like that. 16 corners. When do you ever see a team getting 16 corners in Scotland? But I've kind of noticed it now. Most games we're getting that at least 7 or 8 corners every game at least. It's relentless. Even the game against, I think even St Johnstone was a few corners as well. So I think that was the main thing, Scott. It was the fact that for me, it was, I don't want to blame the manager in a way, but I don't know what you thought, but we all know that Mum are going to park the bus and just try and counter-attack and try and get a sniff.
Aye.
We kind of try to play through the middle away, and instead of getting the ball wide. And I thought when the second half, when the creation right back came on, by Janovic came on,
Aye.
we get the balls in and we get a bit more joy. We didn't score, but we get a bit more joy. And I think if we'd done that for the start of the game, we might have got a bit more joy, because going through the middle of a packed, compact team, it's just very rarely you're going to get any joy, because they're just going to keep putting you back and back and back.
He when he came on, he was the difference when he came on. He was top class, and he proved it against St Johnstone as well. When that boy was on, he was the difference maker. You know, he was whipping balls in. But see, for me in the St Mirren game, I think our front three were absolutely diabolical. If I'm not going to lie to you, you know, I think Abada up front was ridiculous. The wee boy on the right hand side, it was honestly, it was terrible. You know, and I don't want to criticise him because he's just come in and all the rest of it, but it was terrible. And just the front three, just everything that happened was ridiculous. Juranovic came on and he was the difference maker. He was whipping balls in, and that's what changed the game a wee bit. But when we should have been 4-0 up at half time. They had fucking Gianluigi Buffon and goals at half time. You know, the first half. That boy was saving everything. The first half, he saved everything. But after the second half, it's one of the games you just know it just wasn't going to happen. So it was one of them, pal.
I think it was one of the games, Scott. It was going to come eventually. We were getting all these players injured and guys suspended here and there, guys not fully fit. You're kind of playing on it waiting to happen, but you all know wanting to happen.
I thought there was going to be a 94th minute winner. It was just one of the games. You know, you're kind of expecting it. It's going to come. It's got to come, and it never came. And it's one of them. Right at half, and that's it. Just right at half.
I think that's the main thing. It's the fact that we got to win against Johnstone. It's no took it away the result, but I think the fact as well, Scott. The fact that we won the cup kind of a few days beforehand. I'm not saying it took the edge off the dropping points, but it's kind of gave the squad a tiny bit of leeway not to get too criticised, because they've just won the first major cup. And exactly. if you kind of looked at the get-go of the season, obviously you spoke before how the transfer window was 12 players and a lot of players out, and considering where the squad was came from, we didn't know who was going to be the manager to start off with.
Ryan, what we have to all realise is the squad's on its arse.
Yep.
The squad's on its arse. Let's not mess about here. Do you know what I mean? The squad's on its arse. We've got no players whatsoever. So Ange is just doing what he can do. Yep. And we're still competing. We're still winning cups. We're still doing this. We're still doing that. We will pump them at Celtic Park. Make no mistake about it. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have Jota back. We're going to have Kyogo fully fit. We're going to have new signings in, all the rest of it. They're on their arse. So let's worry about that. Do you know what I mean? Let's worry about that.
I think that's the thing Scott says here, John. I think the break's obviously been brought forward. For me, it's came at the right time for us as a club person, because as Scott says, we're on our arse when it comes to squad depth. I can't mind what journalist on Twitter was basically saying, John, that what he's talking about, and I was talking English, what he's talking about, he's looking to bare bones, you still got internationals, but compared to what we're used to, it's fucking bare bones. You've got young guys who, let's be fair, the young guys might be talented, right? But young guys shouldn't be anywhere near the squad. We should have enough players, but John, it must just be a Celtic thing the last year or two. The amount of luck we've had with injuries is just so uncanny.
Aye. St Johnstone game, there was 18 players missing for that squad. There's no other team in Britain could cope with 18 players missing out that first team squad. That's a ridiculous amount of. It's just about 2 teams. You're basically playing your third team, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And to still to still go to St Johnstone, perform the way they did, is admirable. Most of the players played well. Just maybe Starfelt's maybe the only disappointment for the game. But to go there against a team, I know they're struggling at the moment, but last season they were fantastic, winning the 2 cups, doing well in the league, top 6 finish, wasn't it? I would be a hard ask at the best of times. I would maybe take a point there, considering you had 18 players missing. But to go and play the way they did, I think it's a pat in the back for them, definitely.
Obviously, like you say, Scott, Abada was basically hopeless against St Mirren. But he looked a totally,
He was terrible.
A totally different player against St Johnstone.
A totally different player. How can him and Rogic, the two of them were terrible against St Mirren. Terrible. Like, just didn't even turn up. And then you see them against St Johnstone, just 2 different players. Mental. Absolutely mental.
I don't know what you think about Abada in a way, Scott. See, I know it's only St Johnstone, you're no one too carried away, but he actually looked a natural striker. His movement was unbelievable.
He was the worst player in the park against St Mirren. The worst player in the park. And then he turns up as this fucking absolute superstar against St Johnstone. It's mental. Just kind of mental.
And I think as well, I think he scored like more goals at this time of the season than Forrest has, like 9 at his last 12 seasons at Celtic. Something roughly like that. So he starts wise, considering he's came for, we've all kind of gave him a bit of jip because I think we spoke last time, wingers are just generally inconsistent. They're always going to be inconsistent. But considering he's came from a new country, he's only 19, 20.
He's only 19-year-old.
He's got a lot of assists so far, goals. His performances might have been in and out, but considering he's just come into the team, it's a new squad in a way. You can't, but as you say, you try and criticise these guys, but on his stats and his goals, he's actually done reasonably all right considering he was shit against St Mirren.
The boys done fantastic, to be honest with you, but just to see Rogic and Abada in that game against the St Mirren game is like night and day, man. Night and day.
So obviously yourself, John, as I said to Scott, you know that wingers are very inconsistent at any level of football, but you can see, I think he might be at the right club to maybe progress Abada because he's going to get coached off at Ange. And you can see he's a bit raw, but there's definitely a talent there to be nurtured and coached.
Aye, when he signed at the start of the season, probably none else had heard of the boy. And I don't think he was bought in to come in and play right away. I would think he'd have to sit on the bench and bide his time and play a few games here and there, like most young players, dip them in and out.
You're right.
And I think it's important you have boys like that, you bring them in when the team's doing well. When the teams, last year, young boys come into the team and we were struggling, and it affected them as well. They were struggling big time along with the rest of the experienced players. But it's a decent time now for a young player to come into that side, I think. The boy Dawson done absolutely fine on Sunday as well. When he come on, great time for youngsters to come into the team. As I say, best time to bring them in is when you're playing well and winning. But to be fair, you don't like James Forrest, Ryan, right? But yeah, you've come round to him once you've seen his stats, and Abada's stats are just very similar.
Yeah,
he's had a few bad games, whatever, but overall, he's done well for a boy. Scott says at 19, 20-year-old, came from a different country, different culture, but we'll be helping him with Beaton there, a fellow Israeli, right enough.
Obviously with James Forrest, I don't know what you think, Scott, but I think we've seen, I might be wrong, but I think we've seen the best of Forrest. I don't think we're going to get to Forrest. I think injuries maybe caught up on him now. I don't think we've got, bear in mind he's getting older as well. He's not a 21-year-old Forrest anymore. I don't see we're going to get the explosive Forrest anymore. I'm not saying Abada's going to be or going to be first choice in him, but I just think he's going to be as consistently in the first 11 as much as maybe it maybe should be. I think, but injuries are maybe starting to catch up on him.
I disagree, right? I think James Forrest has been sensational for us all of his career, and he'll continue to be. All right, he's had injuries and all the rest of it, but I just think he's always proved his right. You know what I mean? Every time he comes into a team and all the rest of it, he's been consistent. He's been fantastic for us, man, all through his career. And like you said, I think he's only about 30-year-old.
29, 30,
29, 30. He's not that old. So of course, he's lots of explosive power that he's got in his legs and all the rest of it, but I still think, for me, he's a first-team player over Abada.
I would agree. I'd
rather play Forrest before Abada, but Abada against St Johnstone, if he's going to do that every game, then fine, bring him in every game. If he's got to do it every game, but if you look at the St Mirren game, he was absolutely hopeless. And that's what I think Celtic fans have about James Forrest, is the odd game he has a shite game, and folk go, oh, fucking James Forrest and that, and he gets injuries and all the rest of it. But James Forrest, for me, has been consistent for 10 plus years. So
his stats tell me that I'm full of pish.
You're talking pish when you talk about his stats. James Forrest all day long before Abada.
I definitely agree when it comes to that.
Plus, he's an Ayrshire boy, so James Forrest first.
James, sorry, mate. No, but I just think, as I said to you, John, I just think it was the defensive side. I thought it would need to. I always thought he lacked defensively in a wee bit, but again, his stats tell me I'm shite.
No, but he's changed his game. He's changed his game. He has changed his game.
I can see that, because I think for a few years defensively he was a bit, but with Rodgers, I think ever since Rodgers came in, he's progressed a while. Saying that, a lot of players did join under Rodgers. I know people don't like talking about Rodgers, but let's be fair, the guy is one of the best managers we've had in the most of history, probably, for what he's done for the club. So, and he's got guys like Forrest, and nurtured him again, coached him again, got him better. So, and maybe Ange might, again, I'm just talking for what I've seen this season, because he's not really played as much, he's been injured. I see him, as the Scot says, he's struggling to get that explosive. But again, after January, when he's fit, we never know, he could get that back, and it could feel like a new signing for us, John.
Hopefully he gets a wee break, be able to get a wee bit fitter. But he might be just at a stage in his career where he's going to get niggles or whatever, just the way he plays. But as you say, I think his game will have to change a wee bit as well. You've seen most of the games he's played, he can't go by a man down the line. He's always cutting inside or whatever. But as I say, if he changes his game for the better, then that's all fine, isn't it?
Aye, but John, what we spoke about it earlier as well, the last podcast, Michael Owen and guys like that, when they're that fast, their hamstrings go, mate, you know what I mean? The explosive players. So he has to change his game. He's going to have to change his game, like Michael Owen did. So James Forrest now, like you said, he's cutting inside. Of course he's cutting inside, because he's not got the explosive pace to cut past guys now. So he's going to have to come inside and play the ball inside, and that's fine. He's still a good player. He's a better player than Abada, 100%. He's 30-year-old, and this boy's 19. This boy's 19.
Do you think he could play as a striker?
He's played as a striker before, but I don't think he's got the pace now to go past folk. Like Ryan said, but he's still an experienced, good player to play in the team. He's still a number one pick for me before Abada.
He's still an important member of the squad.
Yes.
Big time.
Correct.
Like you were saying, obviously, John, about Beaton as well. I thought he played really well against St Johnstone. Again, I know people are saying it's only St Johnstone, but I think Beaton, since he's been put back into the middle, John, he's been very, very good. And I think people have all gave him jip, and I think after the Midtjylland game, when he gets sent off, I personally say I don't think he should play again. He's let us down now so many times, getting sent off in big games. But you've got to be honest and look at his game, and he's not a centre back. He's a scapegoat. Last season he was a scapegoat, because obviously Shane Duffy wasn't playing well. Julian was out injured, and then he came in and played, and he's not a centre back. And you can see when he's on the ball, he's similar to I don't know what you think, John, but he reminded me of Ayer yesterday, taking the ball, taking it out, and that's priceless at any level of football.
I've never seen that before by Beaton. Running with the ball 50 yards, going by 2, 3, 4 people. But at the end of it, he was knackered, wasn't he? He got the end of that run and he was burst. But I'll take my hat off to him. I think he's been absolutely outstanding. I wasn't his biggest fan.
John, I thought he was man of the match yesterday, pal.
Aye, definitely.
Honestly, like, he just strolled the game. Strolled it.
He's getting a run of games as well. Whereas before, he was in and out, maybe getting a game at centre half if somebody was injured.
I have to say it. The Bethlehem Busquets. That's what he was. That's what he was yesterday.
I would never have him playing at centre half. Never.
No, never, man.
Years.
I see the thing about Ayer as well, right? The thing about Ayer is he's a centre midfielder, and Celtic played him at centre. He's never a centre half. Never a centre half in his life. You play Ayer centre midfield, different player, man. The boy's never a centre defender. Same as Beaton, never a centre defender in their life. Never.
I think obviously because of the situation we're in the last year or two, and it's always qualifiers. I said at the start of the season, it's going to be Beaton and Welsh or Beaton and Murray, and it was. Ended up Welsh and Murray at one point. That's exactly as you say, Scott, where we've came from. We're 6 points or but is behind, but we've got a cup. But see, if you say at the start of the season to probably 3 years here, you're going to sign about 12 to 14 players. You're going to have a brand new manager, a new philosophy, a new this, a new that. You're going to drop a few points, but you'll get the first cup. You'll still be close to the league.
We spoke about this at the time. We knew this was going to come. We knew it was going to come. Right, so give it time. Give it time. What did we say? January transfer window, watch what happens. Watch what happens. And you're going to see what's going to happen.
I think already, Scott, there's talk about the 3 Japanese boys signing for the J League. So again, that's free. I players that Angel know, and they're not coming here to sit on the bench. They're coming to play.
No chance. He knows what's coming, right? And you've got Jota, you've got Julian, you've got Kyogo who's going to come back and all. So we've got like 6, 7, 8 players that are going to come into that first team squad. There's no guys that are going to sit on the bench. These are the guys that are going to come in and make us better. So watch what happens, man. Watch what happens. Ange isn't stupid. Watch what happens.
It's quality over quantity, in it?
Exactly, John. Exactly, pal. You're right.
I think as well, you're talking about quality, John. Rogic. The guys, honestly, I would say overall for me, Cam McGregor's the best in Scotland, right? But seeing it comes to just the ball, his feet, technically gifted, Tom Rogic is an absolute, he's top draw.
I was another one, same as Beaton. I liked Rogic, but I wasn't his biggest fan. I just thought he could never last a game. He was weak and whatever. He looks a lazy type of player, but he's obviously no. But now he's getting a run of games. He's playing 90 minutes. He's an integral part of the team, absolutely. His feet are unbelievable. He's a big lump, I know, isn't he? He's about 6'2", 3". He's a big lump.
Big boy.
Fantastic ability. He's an Ange knows him obviously with the Australian national team, but he's an integral part of that team. And see your first 11, I'm sure he'd find a way of fitting them into that 11. Definitely.
I think Scott I think you've got to find a way to fit them, because I don't know what you think of the last few games, but it's not a criticism of him. I think he's maybe getting asked to do too much sometimes because they were lacking other creative sparks because of injuries and everything through him, and sometimes he's just getting kicked fuckety all the time.
Right, John, right, I'll be honest with you, right, I spoke to Ryan about this before. I think the issue with Rogic was that he was playing under a manager who didn't respect him. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be honest with you.
No.
We spoke about this before. Lennon never played with him whatsoever. And he knows Ange, and Ange knows him. And look at him, man, he's thriving. He's absolutely thriving. So it's two guys that trust each other. Do you know what I mean?
He looks as if he's enjoying himself when he's playing.
I said to Ryan the last time I was on the podcast, Imagine you're working for a guy that you didn't want to work for. What would you do? You're down tools. You're down
I
tools.
think there was a few of them like that.
Exactly. And we've seen it last season. Rogic was one of them. Ryan Cressy was one of them. Aya was one of them.
Edward
was one of them. They were all. And Neil Lennon came out and said, "Oh, these guys, they don't want to play for me. They don't want to play for." He said it. He said it publicly. He went, "There's guys that don't want to play for me. Get them to fuck. See if they don't want to play for Celtic, go away, because there's guys that want to play for Celtic." And these guys didn't want to play for Celtic, and Rogic was one of them because they didn't want to play for Neil Lennon. Look up now under Ange Postecoglou, a different player.
I think that's actually a good point you make, Scott.
Player.
The fact that we all know that it's funny that you say that, because let's be honest, the players who didn't want to be here are the players that left.
Exactly, it's a fact. There's no hiding for it. They all said they wanted to leave under Neil Lennon. He basically said it publicly.
And then
Do you think if Ange was there last year, Scott, the players would still be here?
Oh, 100%, because he's a manager. He's a man's man.
No,
He's a man's man, and he's a proper man. It's like me and you having a conversation now, man to man. That's what he's like. Do you know what I mean? He's a man's man. Neil Lennon just wanted to go and get pissed and just fucking. Let's not mess about. Let's not mess about. I know Neil Lennon's. Oh man, do you know what I mean?
I see the thing as well, like you says, I agree with Scott John in a way that, let's be fair, right, Edward and Aya, they've got their moves to down south, right? But they might never play Europe again.
Never.
They'll go down to Brentford and to Crystal Palace.
In their lives ever again.
But, and see if they still, obviously, I think last year, I'm not saying if we had a different, I'm not saying if we had a different manager, that squad would have won the league last year, right? Because technically they were better than Rangers. Rangers were obviously, we've spoken about more organised and everything else. But see if, even the first game of the season, John, against Rangers, you had Edward and Kyogo, and obviously played Kyogo wide and Edward up front.
Aye.
If that was the opposite, that game was won. Again, he's learning that all the time, I think, John, because he even said it after that game. It's my fault. I know if I played the two different, would have won the game. He's starting to learn now. I think he's learned from his mistakes for Leverkusen when he made the subs early. I think he's learning all the time now, because I do agree that I think he has got to change his style. I know he says he won't change his style or his style of play, but I think sometimes he's got to tweak it. And I think, again, against St Johnstone, down to bare bones, he's tweaked it. And he's
played 3-5-2 against St Johnstone.
And when have you ever seen Ange so far?
Who's seen that coming?
Do you know what I mean?
It's got to be flexible.
But I think as well, John, the fact that, again, he's put his trust in the wee boy Dawson, brought him on the park. These guys on the bench, obviously, were depleted, but he's thrown them on right away without any hesitation. So he trusts these players. Let's see that boy. I know he's only a young boy, right? I know we had to put on a striker, right? But he could have put on Sorrow in centre midfield and put a bad up front. He could have changed it, but he didn't. He put young boy on. And I think, John, I don't know if Scott spoke about it as well, but see, last season when obviously the big Dubai thing happened, and you put in, I know Harper and Okoflex were on a shite Celtic team at the time, but they came in, they didn't look developed, they didn't look ready to make the step up. I'm not saying he's ready made to step in, but he looks more physical and he looks comfortable than they two.
They look more comfortable. Him and E. Moffat against St Mirren, the two of them look very comfortable, just sorting in, just picking up where the guys come off. It's seamless, isn't it?
I don't know about you, I think you're that, Scott, but I do think that maybe it's starting to get back up again, the youth academy, when it comes to the gap, because I thought last season the gap, I'm not saying it's anywhere near, but me personally at Celtic should be having one or two youth guys that should be able to step in. Ideally, that's what you want, if possible. But I think last season, that was nowhere to be seen.
Aye, wasn't he? Aye, who we had since Kieran Tierney, really? Do you know what I mean? Think about it. Nobody, really. So we all talk about Forrest, we talk about McGregor, we talk about Kieran Tierney. Who's come through since? Think about it.
There's no really guy consistently. Nobody,
mate. So You're right. You know, the conveyor belt's not there, and that's a bad thing. Now I've watched a few B team games, and I'm sorry, but there's nobody in there. I'm not going to blow smoke up folks' arse if it's not there. There's nobody in that B team for me I'm looking at going, fucking hell, man, he can come in at the first team. There's nobody. I'm not going to lie to you. So it's, where is it? Where's the conveyor belt?
So I think it's for me to say in a sense. Obviously, we had against Tabs in the final, we had like 5 or 6 academy players, which is fair enough. But they already kind of supplemented McGregor and your Ralston and Welsh, all that, right? But I do agree. There's a conveyor belt to a degree, but not a conveyor belt to come in and play. There's a conveyor belt of just guys kicking about on the bench, but there's no.
There's no one player that stands out. Even you talk about Karamoko Dembele, who was the next fucking Messi. Where's he been for the last year? Where's he been?
I know you've been injured, but I do know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. See if there was a conveyor belt, you wouldn't be signing 12 players at the start of the season.
Exactly, pal. John, you're right. You're right, pal. You're right. Right. You're right. Where's the conveyor belt? Where is it?
Right. It's a big part of the club in the future. You've got to have it. We spoke about the academy.
That's what I'm saying. So since Kieran Tierney, who's there been?
In the last 5 or 6 years, there's nobody's come in and stayed in.
Correct, John. Correct.
Maybe Welsh is the one that's played more than anybody else.
Aye, but would you say, I want Welsh in my team?
No.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's one. I'm sure we spend £2 million, I think, John, in youth academy, and you know, people will say, they might listen to this, or people in general might say, aye, but we've got Ralston, we've got Welsh, we've got Murray, these guys are coming in playing, Moffat, aye, that's fair enough, I understand that, but a club like Celtic, like you see Barcelona, I know it's a total different culture, obviously Scott stays in Spain, so he might know more about Spanish football, but John, Madrid, Dortmund and whatever else.
Ajax is the best product going, by the way.
I totally understand.
For fucking years, man. They're the champion here. The champion. Honest to God.
I totally understand that you're not expected to bring guys in every season for 3 or 4 to come in and play, but you spend £2.5 million whatever it is in the youth. Guys, teams like Ajax only get the base budget and academy budget that we've got. And what is it, John? Is it coaches? Is it the culture? Is it because you get guys like Pedri, 16 and 17 in Barcelona, and he's just playing week in, week out, and you're thinking, we're bringing guys like Nick Dawson. Could he come in and be that impact? Probably no. Again, I know it's a bigger level of football. You've got to look at it realistically and think that level to this level is different. But the guys at 17 and 16 are wiped the floor with Barcelona's youth system, and it's totally what Scott says. Ideally, you want 2 or 3 wee guys at the B team who are ripping the piss at them to step in like we did Dembele was doing. But as Scott says, John, you're not really getting that, or you're not really hearing the murmurs about that happening anyway.
No, we're talking about January. See if we're going to sign maybe 3 very, very good players to come in and play in the first team. Yeah, again, it's proven that there's nothing else there in the academy. So this season, Ange might sign 15, 16 players. That proves that there's nothing there to bring in.
It's bad, John. You're right. John, you're right, man. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Why we not get the players at Celtic? We should have the best youngsters in Scottish football coming through Lennoxtown. Right. And we should be bringing them through, putting them into the Celtic team and all the rest of it. We're not doing it. And it's shocking, man. It is absolutely shocking. Shocking.
I think it's true as well. I think as well, some fans, John, we kind of, maybe me, because I'm not really a fan of Greg Taylor or Bolingoli, Scales that's done all right at Folkestone Johnson, but he's obviously still to come into the fore. Taylor for me is obviously, everybody who listens to the podcast and knows I'm not Taylor's biggest fan. He's maybe comfortable, but I don't think he's got a taste to the next level. Bolingoli either. I still think we need a top player left back, and we've not had it since Tierney. The £25 million we got from, for me, again, it's maybe off track. It's not really in the public eye or in the media, but why we no spending? I know Celtic don't really do big money transfers, but why just no go to spend £10 million on a top draw left back? Because we've had about 4 or 5, 6 transfer windows, and we've spent about what 7, 8, 9 million in 2 or 3 left backs who are not going to play every week.
Yeah. The one about see when KT came into the first team. I don't know if Azagiri was injured or whatever. KT came in, but he was good enough to keep Azagiri out. Azagiri was a fantastic left back, but KT stayed in the team. He was good enough. He got the opportunity, and he grasped it with both hands. But I can't see any of the other academy players doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
KT was good enough.
John, I'm watching the BT games. I'm watching the B team games, and come on, sir. You know what I mean? It's like they're not even good enough to play for the fucking Celtic B team. They're brutal. I'm sorry, but they're just like.
Is that the Lowland League?
They shouldn't even be in the fucking Celtic bench. These boys. Sorry for saying it if you're watching it, but they're brutal. They shouldn't even be in the bench for Celtic. These boys that I've watched, they're terrible, man.
I think as well, obviously, you're young boys, but I think because of the club at Celtic, I think, Johnny, you do expect maybe 2 or 3 players to come in every so often and get in and out, because I think under, obviously, back in the days, you had McGeady come in, O'Davis come in, your Simon Ferries, these guys were all coming in and out on the bench, we're all getting a bit of tasting experience. I think, John, that's something lacking now. I know they're on the bench, but some are only on the bench for this 21.
Because of the under 20, they're only on the bench because you've got to have 2 under 21 players. Is that right?
Aye. John, you're right again. But they're brutal, man. They're not good enough to play for Celtic. Let's be honest. I mean, probably let's all be fair here. Probably the best player out of all the B team players and above is Mikey Johnson, who's.
Don't say that name in front of Ryan.
Should never play for Celtic ever again.
Don't say that name in front of Ryan.
No, but should never play for Celtic ever again. And it's guys like that. Do you know what I mean? That's probably the creme de la creme of the B team players. And terrible, man. They're not good enough to play for Celtic.
I'm like you, Scott. I don't want to, like I've said before, I'm not wanting to sit and totally lambast them because I get the football players, but at the same time, I know he's had injuries and he's obviously had these troubles, Johnson, with to get back fit, whatever else. People are obviously their talent there, but John, some fans are saying give him time to get. I'm sorry, see Celtic, you know yourself, Scott. You don't get time at Celtic. If you're no, I know injuries, take away injuries, but if you're no in the squad consistently at 22, 23, I know Ralston's come in, but even he's in and out now. He's not a first team member anymore, as in every game. Big Janovic, I says, when he signed, he'd be the right back. Ralston he's still playing well. I think we've got 2 fantastic right backs now, but I still think if it's to go on to take us to the latter stages of things, he's Croatia's right back, and that tells you everything you need to know. We're going for a snip price. I think he's superb, and Ralston's been very good.
He's class, but Ralston, you can't take Ralston out of the team.
No. I'm not saying take him out of the team, but I don't think Ange, and again, we cannot admit when we're wrong, Scott, I don't think even Ange expected Ralston to be here because that's why he signed him.
No, Nene did. Listen, we thought he was the worst right back in fucking Scotland, but the boy's been the best right back in Scotland all season. Listen, he's proved us all wrong. Let's get down on our hands and knees and just say sorry to the boy. Juranovic can't get a game because of this boy, because he's playing superb. And he wears the jersey like we'd all wear the jersey. So it's fair dues to the boys. He's came in there and he's done the job. Juranovic is top class. But he'll never get a game in front of Ralston because at the minute he's running the position. It's his job.
But I think as well, like you say that, I don't know what you think of this, John. The fact that we've got two good fullbacks, or quality fullbacks, as Ralston is pointing out. If you're a Abada or your Forrest can't play at that side, you can just play one forward and one at the back. We've got that luxury.
It's unbelievable, but Juranovic, he's playing right back, he's playing left back, he's playing wide right and he's playing the front three. That's unbelievable. He's got. It's not that he's comfortable playing in every one of his positions. He's so talented; he can do it very easily. He's been a fantastic sign. I love him.
Yeah, he's class, mate. He's class.
His pedigree tells you he should be playing before Tony Ralston. But as you said, Scott, Tony Ralston's earned the right to keep that jersey.
Correct.
Juranovic is one. I think you've got to fit him in a team somewhere, the same as Beaton and Rogic at the moment.
Aye, correct, John.
But I think as well, the fact that I think it's true what the two of says there, the fact that we've had a lot of players who are injured, but the fact that we're still bringing guys in and we're still playing to a decent degree, it kind of, we talk about how our depth isn't very good, Scott, right? Maybe the depth of quality isn't very good, but the depth of squad is maybe actually not that bad because you've just played 2 games where basically our Rockies have 3 squads. Do you know what I mean? The guys injured and guys... So it's not really the quality that we want, but we've definitely got numbers because you've just beat St Johnstone, as you says, double winners last season. Ireland did very well, but considering the team, even guys like McCarthy, I thought McCarthy was superb, Scott. I think he's had his doubters, but he's obviously still got the quality there, but it was just getting him fit again.
What do you say about McCarthy, man? He was just like, I watched him the other night and like, he just tried the Hollywood pass a few too many times for me. You know what I mean? He's trying to do these Hollywood passes for some reason, and just instead he's playing the simple ball. And I seen him getting done a couple of times, like injured as if he wants to come off, and just to me, it just doesn't seem to want to be there, and that kills me. You know, he's a Celtic fan. We know he's all a Celtic fan, so I don't know what it is with him, man. I don't know what it is with him.
But again, that's like you says about him. Obviously, he's just getting up to fitness. A few players have signed. Giakoumakis. I think Giakoumakis will do a job, obviously, but once he's fit. But again, it's a due diligence. Sorry, Scott, to the board or whoever it is that's making signings. No matter what level you're playing at, why sign a guy? Surely a guy who's not played for 3 or 4 months, like McCarthy, Giakoumakis. They're your top targets, and you know that they need to come in and train for 2 months, 3 months, and fit again. Then that leaves you with two places left to bring in a game because they're not fit, they can't play. And it's definitely affected.
We signed 2 injured players, and they're giving McCarthy a 4-year deal. What the fuck is that all about, man? It's like, it's mental. A guy who's not played for years, like he's been injured all his days, and you gave him a 4-year deal. Mental.
But Giakoumakis knew he was leaving his club at the end of the season. So I think for integrity, your own professionalism, you've got to keep yourself fit. Yes, you'll not be match fit, but you should be busting your balls 5 or 6 days a week, keeping fit in preparation for signing for your new club.
You're
and
right.
He obviously wasn't. And that's what I doubt him for that reason, that he wasn't ready and fit enough. It's not that he was injured, he just wasn't in the condition required to play here.
You're right, pal.
That's why I doubt him a wee bit.
And that's the reason I've got the same reservations about McCarthy, because McCarthy came up here with the intentions of being a Celtic fan and a big Celtic fan and the rest of it. I'm a Celtic fan, you're a Celtic fan, and Ryan's a Celtic fan. If we had the opportunity to play for Celtic, we'd fucking rip our balls off to play for Celtic. Do you know what I mean? And these guys have come up here with I don't like it, man. I don't like it.
I think as well, it's true what you're saying, but again, John, that's got to be, as much as we are maybe saying Ange's got to tweet things or this and that, the board have left us in a state where that's as much as I think. Sometimes I think the board, they get a bit too much criticism in a way, John, because again, the balance sheet's good, fair enough. You've done okay when it comes to that, selling players, this and that. We've done some good things, but when it comes to last season, this season, they've really, I know they've spent money, I understand that, but you've not spent it wisely because you've got to sign players that suit your formation, suit your system, suit what the manager wants. Last season, we signed quality, yes, but we didn't sign guys that suited the system. Maybe, to be fair, last year was a shambles anyway. But this year, the board have left Ange basically his hands was tied on his back. And again, let's be fair, every journalist and every media outlet had Ange sacked by now, and he's still here, so he's doing something right.
I've seen another thing about Ange. See, since Ange came in, there's not been any leaks. There's not been any team leaks on the Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
The Celtic team's in the papers on the Saturday and Sunday morning. There's no negativity whatsoever coming from Celtic Park at the moment regarding the players, the manager, etc. Nothing.
Correct.
And that's something, Scott, last season.
We spoke about this, pal.
There was leaks every Thursday, Friday. You knew the team, and you're thinking, how is that getting out? There was rumours that it was this guy.
We spoke about this. The issue last season was Lennon. Obviously, it was a massive problem because every team was getting leaked. Everything was getting leaked about the team. Everything getting leaked about what was happening in the dressing room and all the rest of it. And Ange, like we spoke about, I said, Ange doesn't take any prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't take any prisoners with him, deal. He just goes, listen, mate, whatever. He just gets into them. He just destroys them straight away. And I said to you, he's not like Gordon Strachan, who was a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He just tells them straight. Gordon Strachan tried to be a stand-up comedian. Big Ange just tells them like it is, and that's it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
He's definitely got full control for the club.
Destroys them, John. Destroys them.
I was actually, Scott, I was listening to a podcast today, an English one, and they were talking about when Solskjaer was the Cardiff manager.
Right.
And I think, is it Chinese owners or something there at the time? Or Scandinavians, I can't remember.
Thai owners, man.
And Solskjaer would come into the changing room before a game and say, you and you is no playing. The chairman doesn't want his playing today. And they questioned Solskjaer and went, why did he accept that? He should have just walked. So I can't see Ange accepting things like that. That's what I mean. He's in total control.
He's in total control, mate. You're right. He just destroys them. And the thing is, like I said, we Strachan was a stand-up comedian. He just tried to be a funny arsehole and all the rest of it with the media. Ange just tells it like it is. He's just ruthless with them, and I love it.
Aye.
And obviously, as we say, John, the winter break's coming. Forward now, and obviously the fans have been cut for the game the other day. Again, it was a game with the media spot on. He was like, "Listen, mate, I don't know what you're trying to get here, but this isn't football.
Yeah.
You can't like this." And I'm like, and I think, again, I don't know if that was a dig for the last season. I think he knows when there's crowds, there's Celtic. Like there's Celtic or Celtic when there's crowds. Even yesterday there was only 500 odd fans, but it was a different feel with the fans because you were more confident in the team. And I think, again, you're saying, Scott, John, he takes no prisoners. He was as soon as he asked me a question, he's like, "Look, mate," he's like, I think sometimes he's really want to swear. Like, "Listen, mate, do you really think that's fucking good? Are you fucking kidding on?"
I think when he says mate, he means fuck.
Because as I say, John, I'm obviously, we don't know if fans will be back in 3 weeks, but I'd like to think they'll do everything they can to happen because, as Scott says, I know the Rangers game's a wee bit away and you still get Hib before it and games before it. But a 50,000, I know it's obviously there's
a different ballgame, different ballgame.
60,000 under the lights at Celtic Park, probably no Rangers fans. You've got to be confident, as Scott says, you're going to have maybe 3 or 4 signings. Carter Vickers might sign permanently by January, we don't know. Again, I like to think so because he's a very good player. If it is £6 million, whatever it is quoted, I would say just get him because he is a Premier League standard centre-back. For what I've seen so far, he's very good. So I think all bodes well in that front. And I think if it is fans back by that game, it's a total different ball game, John.
Aye. You know, players in their books and in the media talking about it, they all talk about playing in front of crowds. They play better in front of crowds when there's a bit of pressure on them. They play better. It's more. The game's quicker. It's more intense. You seen it yesterday. I'm not saying Celtic played slowly yesterday, but it's still lacking that bit of intensity. Even though there was only a few hundred fans in, it's lacking. Definitely lacking. I don't want it. with no fans. It's horrible.
Nah, it's pish. Nah, it's pish. John, you're right.
It's not just that, Scott. Even to watch it on the telly, it's not very good to watch.
Nah, it's
No.
fucking real, man. Like for guys like me that live in Spain, you know, I'm watching it on the telly. I don't go to Celtic Park anymore. I don't go to away games and all that anymore. So for me, watching it, I was watching it yesterday here going, what the fuck, man? You know, like 500 fans in the stadium.
Is the Spanish stadiums cut rent, Scott?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't watch Spanish football. I don't watch it at all. So I don't know, pal. But just watching it yesterday, it just felt like last season to me. It felt like the COVID season, you know, just the COVID Cup for the champions and all the rest of it. And
Aye.
it's like ridiculous. It's no fans there. It's no fans is nothing. It's horrible.
It's no ideal at all. And I think for us to play the football we want, John, I think you've got to have the fans, because I think Ange and the players have even says it when there was these protests about the Higgins guy came in and stuff, which we all gladly know it's not happening. But we all know that even they were questioning why they're not singing, why is there no noise? And so just imagine that when they fans and they excuse noticing, that big culture shock to some of these players.
I see if it's no fans, I'd just rather you didn't play football, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion.
John, you're right.
It's pointless, absolutely pointless.
You're right, pal. You're right.
I'm like you, Scott. I just think it's, excuse my French, it's just pish. I love football and I love watching football, and again, I'd rather just wait another month if it is and play an extra month on top of the season to get us.
That's what I'm saying.
But you can't.
I stay here in Spain and I'm watching it on the telly. So yesterday, 500 fans in that stadium. Imagine me sitting here going, I'm like watching it going, what the fuck is this? You know, it's just like, it's pish.
It's a hard watch.
Nah,
when is the World Cup? Is it November, December?
Roughly that time of year.
See, the longer it gets put back, it's in danger, because the World Cup is a priority, isn't it, for FIFA? That'll overtake anything. Everything else will go out the window.
John, imagine a World Cup without fans.
No, it's never going to happen. Never happen.
Can you imagine it, mate?
No.
It's ridiculous. No. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's a joke.
Because obviously we all know it's health reasons and we want everything to get better that way as well. And I know, but again, we're only here to talk about the football side of it. We can talk about all that side for hours. But the football side of it is maybe selfish football fans. It's just no good. It just can't happen, as you say, Scott.
Right, it's ridiculous. Imagine, right? So is every fucking shopping centre in Scotland getting shut for 500 shoppers?
No.
Oh, it's no. Is it?
No.
Can you get 1,000 shoppers in a shopping centre in Scotland? Aye.
Oh.
Of course you can.
You can have a million a day.
But you can't get 500 fans in a fucking 60,000 seater stadium. Get the fuck, man. Honestly, man. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
But see the thing you were saying there?
It's a joke.
John, the fact that Jason Leach just plucked 500 out there, there was nothing to do with science, data, no reason.
A joke.
A joke. 500 fans.
So am I right? So boys, I'm going to say this. You go to Glasgow, you go to a shopping centre in Glasgow that can hold 5,000 folk. Okay? Only 500 folk allowed in. You stand there at the door, the Polos. Only 500 folk allowed in. Boxing Day sales. Are you fucking joking me?
No.
They folk are going to ram the place. But you can't go to a 60,000 seater all-seater stadium with 500 folk.
And the open air.
A joke, man. It's just a joke. It's a joke. Why is it always football fans? Why is it always football fans that fucking have to suffer? Why?
But that's the thing as well, John, that Scott says. The football brings in a lot of economy, it brings a lot of money, it brings a lot of joy to the Scottish country. So you'd like to think they would do their best to make sure the games get played.
Aye.
But
they should be doing everything. They should be doing everything to make sure that happens.
Because let's be honest, it's the biggest sport in Scotland. It's
You
the
see
biggest
it, you
money
go-
sport. It's,
Boys, you go to a supermarket, you go to a shopping centre, all the rest of it, and there's folk side by side all the way across it. But you go to a 60,000 all seater stadium, and you can only get 500 folk in it. Come on,
it's madness.
come on.
Um,
Think about it. Think
it's-
about it.
I know.
When saying that, St Johnstone Stadium holds what, 10,000?
10,000, right? It's a 10,000 all
So there's
seater.
500 there. So what's that percentage wise? 20%?
But
No,
you,
no,
you have 500 at Celtic Park that's got 60,000.
no. It should be pro rata. That's what I mean. If it's
Exactly.
500 and a 10,000, it should
John,
be 20,000
exactly.
or whatever.
Exactly.
Aye.
Exactly, John. So 60,000. Why is that 500 allowed in a 10,000 seater all seater stadium, but there's only 500 allowed in a 60,000 all seater
Aye.
stadium? It's a joke, man. It's just there's no fucking honest to God, man. Think about it. It's a joke.
And I've no thought about it. That's what it is.
They haven't, John. They've no, pal. You're right.
It's just, I think, John, it's just an excuse just to get football stopped, isn't it?
Aye.
It's just an
Aye.
excuse.
But why is it always football? Why is it always football? This is what gets me.
I know.
Well, I don't know.
Why,
Um,
John? Why is it no shopping centres? Why is it no everything
I know.
else?
oh, was Edinburgh no playing Glasgow rugby today?
Don't
And
know.
why was the crowd there?
Was it yesterday? That's what I was going to say.
I'm
Aye,
not
what would
sure.
have been the crowd there?
I'm not sure.
Either at
Um,
Scotstoun or Murrayfield. Probably a full house.
Because down
probably-
south, it's full crowds.
Probably because it was fucking full of Tory rugby bastards, man. You know what I mean? Just fucking honest to God, man. Just don't even talk about it, man.
But aye, as I say, obviously, and I'm a positive note, Scott. As I say, you've got 6 books out, and obviously an offer. How's that going? How's the books kind of still getting very good regarding ratings and stuff like that as well?
Aye, good mate. Aye, good. They're doing well. Aye, just doing all right, man. Just keep.
What kind of books is it, Scott? What's the content in it?
Yeah, it's kind of Scottish comedy and kind of Scottish sort
Right.
of heartwarming stories and sort of Irish stuff and that. And aye, it's fine, man. It's doing well.
'Cause I think-
Would you branch into other type of content in your books? Like sport or whatever?
Aye, I'm up for doing anything really. I've got
Aye,
I've got a lot of stuff going on, so
good.
one of them's a wee bit disturbing. One is a wee
Right.
bit disturbing that I've done. So I am just planning to do different things.
Good.
I think as well, obviously, the fact I think I did say that, Scott. The fact as well that as a talent you've got, because the fact you can chop and change what you're trying to write about, and again, that's how I think maybe sometimes authors don't really get the recognition as they do, mate, because people just say, you're just writing books. It's the same as a singer or songwriter. You're
Aye.
just writing. No, it's a lot of effort, and I think as well the fact that it's maybe helped you, Scott, the fact you're in Spain as well, because you're away for a hustle and bustle here, a life here, and you can actually sit down, relax, and actually do your job instead of having to worry about life back here.
Aye. No, you're right. You're right. What you're saying it's different life experiences as well. I've lived in Scotland. I've lived in Spain. I've been to Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, all these different places, and it's all life experiences, man. It's just, aye. It's like you said. There's no hustle and bustle anymore. So I'm quite a chill place now. So it's nice just to sit back and relax and just write what I want to write, man. It's cool.
I think is there any, see, like, obviously when you're writing, do you think you would ever get involved in any Celtic books or anything, or do you would stick to your own, what you know, like you said in the past?
No, I maybe would. Aye, it's like I'm for Saltcoats, so Bobby Lennox is for there, so I know Bobby Lennox, so maybe while he's still alive, or maybe I'd like to do something with Bobby. Maybe I think he's such a character. He's just like there's no many left. You've got like Jinky and Bertie Auld and all the rest that have unfortunately left us, so. There's no many Lisbon Lions left, so I'd like to maybe sit down with Bobby one day and do a bit with him. That'd be nice.
He's a proper legend. Proper legend. Aye.
Proper legend, man.
I seen Bobby Lennox playing, and I don't know what age he was. He must have been 37 or something like that, maybe 1980. I think he finished.
Aye. I seen it in his career, John. I seen it in his career.
Aye. And he was still quicker than anybody then.
Honest to God, man, like I'm from Saltcoats and now he's drinking Bobby's bar and Saltcoats his bar, and oh man, just an absolute legend, legendary guy.
And obviously we're talking about legends. A wee thing I like to ask you, Scott. Obviously, it's Christmas time. It's who would you have at your Christmas table? You've four past or present players, funny guys, characters, or even obviously take away Larson, right? Because we'd all love Larson at a Christmas table, right? But who would you pick to sit at a dinner table and just have an absolute natter for a full Christmas day?
Right, I'm not even going to pick Larson. I'm not even going to pick, because everybody would pick Larson, and I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to pick 4 absolute comedians. I'm going to have Jinky, Tommy Burns, Bertie Auld, and Bobby Lennox.
I don't think there'll be a dry eye in that table.
We've got karaoke after it as well. Honestly, I don't think you're going to get 4 better guys. I'm being serious, man.
To be fair, obviously it's past my generation, but they 3 just prefer what I've heard and what I've known.
Honestly,
they're 3 guys I would take, mate, because Tommy Burns, I think, would be anybody's dinner table, anybody's party, anybody karaoke. The guy was just.
I've not met any of the guys apart from Bobby Lennox, obviously, but the other 3 guys. The one guy I wanted to ever meet in my life was Tommy Burns. Honestly, man, like I think he's just Celtic through and through, and like I know folks say Bertie Auld and that, and Bertie Auld was obviously the funniest guy ever to do with Celtic, but I think Tommy Burns for me just is everything that Celtic's about. You know what I mean? He's just faith, family, and just a funny man, and just a great man. And I've met football players, and I've interviewed people all over my days and all the rest of it. And if you watch Open Goal with Simon Ferry and all the rest of it, and you watch all these podcasts and all the rest of it, every single person talks about Tommy Burns as an inspiration in life. And I just think he's a guy that I'd love to have met in my life and just had a chat with. It just seems like the perfect human being for me. So he would be my number 1 guest.
I think it's like Scott says there, John. I think he would be anybody's party. I think he's a guy that I think everybody would like to meet. Obviously, me, I'm only going by, like Scott says, podcasts and interviews and videos of games and interviews. These are the guys that define Celtic.
Seeing your talk like Bertie and Jinky and that, but they were going to games and the boss would all be singing and all that. They didn't have headphones and all that in the days.
Aye.
And they says they were all friends, and they weren't just teammates, they were friends out with it and all that as well. Aye, singing and all that in the bus. And I don't know who it was, Ryan, recently there was some top manager was like, I do not allow headphones on the buses. You need to sit and talk to your teammates. But totally banned for the training ground, the bus, everywhere. That's the way it should be. Because when that happens, you're more of your team, aren't you? You're more together. You've got your teammates back. Now, a lot of guys, things have changed in the world, whatever, but a lot of football teams now, you'll never spend a minute with one of your teammates after a game. Just go your separate ways and whatever.
You're right, John. You're right.
Different era.
Can you pick 4 better than him, John? Can you pick 4 better than A4 guys?
Hey, does it have to be Celtic players, Ryan?
Aye. Ideally, aye.
Celtic supporter.
We'll go with that then, aye.
Right, Billy Connolly.
Oh, come
Billy
on, sir.
Connolly. who
I would have
killed-
picked him. I would have picked him for the Celtic supporters.
Oh man, unbelievable! I've been watching some of his stuff on YouTube, man. My tears rolling down my face. Unbelievable. Billy Connolly, see wee Betty, because she'd be the ringleader, wouldn't he?
Wee Betty. You have to get wee Betty at the table.
He wouldn't let it go quiet. He'd be always it'd be gone and gone. Somebody like Martin O'Neill. He seemed a dead intelligent character as well, didn't he?
You know that. Christmas table, but born else, have you?
No, I think he's interesting. And somebody else. What if Danny McGrain say? Danny McGrain, another legend.
See, I just wanted a bit of crack. That's why I picked Dave for.
That's my first one because of a bit of crack with Billy Connolly. Unbelievable.
Yeah, of course.
I most of the guys, apart from Billy Connolly, but even Dan McGrain, these guys are the guys that I think maybe it's, as you says, John, that players don't really buy into the club. I think maybe these are the guys, obviously some have passed away and stuff, but at Celtic, new signings and new managers, these are, you like to think they should be known about this because it should give you the bug to actually want to play with Celtic.
I don't know if Danny's still there in some capacity. I know he was there under Rodgers, but I don't know if Danny's still there. But he must be nearly 70 now, Danny. Anyway.
Oh, easy.
I'm not too sure if he's still there, Scott, is he?
I don't think he is.
He was still involved in the academy and that when Rodgers is there, wasn't he?
I don't think he's there now.
No.
But obviously the last wee bit of the podcast, Scott, obviously we've spoken about a lot there, but what's your obviously overall feelings to the new and obviously hopefully for the rest of the season?
I just think we're just going to be a different animal after January, to be honest with you. I just think he's going to bring in reinforcements for Japan and all the rest of it, and we're going to get guys back. Julian, Jota, Kyogo is going to be back fully fit as well. So I'm super confident, man. I'm not asked about what's going to happen next season. I think after Christmas, we're just going to be a different animal, and Ange's going to bring his team in that he wants to bring in. So it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward. I'm positive. I'm looking forward to after January, and I'm no concerned about the season whatsoever. I'm
kind of just going to echo what you've said, mate. I generally think that we'll be a total different animal after we get players back fit. But no, he's not actually had a proper chance to get he's proper 11 guys in and out all the time. No getting maybe everybody wants to come in. January, we all know certain players don't come because of certain reasons, but I think he'll identify who he wants. We'll be a total different animal. And I think John, it's just, as you say, there's no, apart from maybe the odd bad result here and there, there's not a lot to be fully negative about Celtic considering where we've came from for the summer.
I just hope and pray that they sign players as soon as January comes and don't do what Celtic do, wait to the end of fucking January. When the wind is shutting is what we normally do. No getting guys times to bed in and whatever. But this wee break, it's an ideal opportunity to get guys in right away as soon as that window's open. And as Scott says, it looks all good going forward.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I think that as a thing, Scott, in it, it's getting. I know we all know deals can take time, whatever else, but hopefully within the first week or two in January,
I think the deals are done, Ryan. To be honest with you, for what I'm hearing anyway, the deals are done. So the boys will be in early. They'll be training. They'll be 2-3 weeks in training. They'll be good to go. And like I said, we all said Julian, Jota, Kyogo, they'll be fit, good to go. So you're looking at 6, 7, 8 new signings coming in. Fucking way, full team, first team players.
Right. And also we're not going away anywhere. Staying here.
Staying here, John. Yeah, you're right, pal. You're right.
Aye. So we need Dubai this year, Scott.
Need Dubai. Need drinks. No fucking beers in Dubai this year.
You've drank them all.
But I think that's the main thing. January's obviously, I think we're a different animal. I think most Celtic fans I like to think we'll echo it, because it's going to give another 2 weeks to bed into what Ange wants and his philosophy style of Celtic. But again, Scott, I really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having a wee chat. John, again, thanks for coming on again. Hail, guys. And
No worries. Good night, lads.
Best luck in the future, Scott. And again, hope the books fly off the shelves, mate. Take care and hail.
Hey, brother, boys.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.